Good evening, OCPS families. My name is Victoria Tierney, and I'm the Senior Administrator for Family and Community Engagement. And tonight it is my great pleasure to share with you information about an incredible platform that's been put out by the state that really, the whole purpose is to help our students really be able to find their path to success. And they do that whether they are college or career ready. So I definitely am excited to we have several schools that we're having watch parties tonight. So I welcome you. I know we've got some families from Shingle Creek for sure. If you are at a watch party at an OCPS school, we encourage you to go ahead and drop a hello in the chat. I am being joined by my colleague, Lauren Chrisman George, who will be monitoring that chat for us. And we'll be able to respond to any of your questions. And we certainly want to know if you have anything you need to have answered. We welcome you. Like I said, tonight we are looking at Xello Family Access. And for a lot of families, they're curious about exactly what is Xello. So I want to go through the agenda with you just so you'll get an idea. We'll do our welcome and our overview. You'll get to see the Xello overview. We're going to also take a look at Xello lessons for each grade level, as well as Xello Family Access and Xello Parent Resources. So one of the things that we want to be able to do is share with you the why. Why is it important, or why is the state recognizing the importance of helping our young people be college and career ready? And that's because the research shows us that higher grades and higher test scores, higher passing grade rates, they're all associated with the fact that when we have better attendance, when kids know and have goals and they feel like they know what they want to be able to pursue, those things happen. We also know that kids have greater motivation, better social skills, improved behavior, and adapt well to school, and ultimately have better self-esteem when we are able to give them guidance and they feel like they have focus. They know possibly what my talents are. Where do I want to, explore interests, and how can that provide a livelihood or a successful future for me? We also know that when kids have some sense of direction and some idea of what their talents and gifts are and how they can best utilize them, we have lower rates of suspension across the district. There's no doubt about that. And we also have, most importantly, a decreased use of drug use and alcohol and fewer instances of violent behavior. So why is it we want to start talking about our young people's future to them, including them? All of this tells us in the research that this is one of the reasons we do that. So let's talk about, what are some things that, parents can teach their children to ensure success? Because you are if you are a parent, a caregiver, a guardian, you are a vital part of your child's success. So we know that the first thing we want to look at is teach organizational skills. And this is really important. You can use, if you're talking digital organization, go ahead and teach your kids how to use a Google Drive. Teach them how to be able to create folders and be able to basically have a folder for each subject. We want them to also, a lot of times I know in elementary school, our elementary schools actively provide some type of an organizer. I believe middle school does. In high school, a lot of times that's when our kids think they need the least amount of tools to keep themselves organized. Even if they're using the calendar on their phone, that's an organizational tool. So we want them to be able to write down due dates and important items in a planner on a calendar, even if, like I said, they're keeping track of that digitally. Explain that doing a little each day can help get projects done. And one of the big things in education we talk about is backwards planning. So if you've got a due date and you've told your young person, okay, let's look at that due date. What is the expectation that you accomplish by that due date? Then we want to talk about, so how much time do you think it's going to take for you to do that? Let's start working backwards. If they know they have to submit a rough draft, you can't wait till 3 days before it's due to submit your rough draft. You got to look at those things and say, well, now I need time to get feedback and to edit. Also, establishing routines are really vital in terms of ensuring student success. Those routines provide um, a sense of security, but also a sense of predictability. And that provides confidence for our young people. So set a designated time and physical space for either doing homework or studying. We want to make sure that you don't wait until you're like bleary-eyed from the alarm that just went off to go, oh my gosh, what do I have to have ready for today? So you want to get things ready the night before. Whether that's packing your lunch, whether it's making sure that you've studied over and looked over notes that you might have, even as simple as just picking out the clothes you want to wear the next day. That can be really helpful to our young people. And then also, we want to talk about the consequence of failed grades. You know, you may have to do credit recovery, which means more work. It also means giving up free time, whether it's your summer, whether it's over a break. You don't want to have to be stuck in summer school. And you definitely don't want to be looking at a possible grade level retention. Most importantly, not meeting their desired academic and career planning goals is why we want to make sure our children do these things. Because we know that each of these, when we focus on organizational skills, establishing those routines, and we actually talk about the consequences of their choices, that they are much more likely to achieve any of those goals. So in terms of the Xello overview, Xello allows students to complete the following. They're going to be able to think about their goals for the future. Now, this doesn't mean that if a student is engaging in Xello lessons, that they are static. These change as your child changes. So one of the things that's important to know is that Xello is a platform that was rolled out by the state of Florida in conjunction with the new state statutes that relate to ensuring success for our kids. It is tied to those 8th grade standards that talk about that. And when the state rolled out this platform, it has been rolled out, at least here in Orange County, we've rolled it out for 3rd grade through 12th grade students. Why is this important? This is important because you cannot wait until your child is in middle or high school to really start talking about what they want to do. So we need to approach this at an earlier age. The great thing about it is, let's just say your 3rd or 4th grader does Xello lessons. And during those Xello lessons, it will explore their interests. It will explore their aptitude in terms of knowledge and skill set. And it will make some suggestions. So the child will say, you know what? I'm noticing I really am interested in animation, or I'm really interested in the sciences. And Xello will help to guide and recommend different careers that they might want to be thinking about or exploring other interests. And we are actually doing that right now with a lot of our high school students who are prepping for our college and career fair. And they did a survey match where they went in and they matched their interests and their skills. And they not only were able to say, these are the 3 careers I might be most interested in, but then Xello looks at how they responded to that survey, and it in turn makes some recommendations they may not even have thought about. So it works on a variety of activities. Now, the slide says kindergarten to high school. This is true. But here in Orange County, we've only implemented the Xello platform for students 3rd through 12th grade. And all of our students 3rd through 12th grade are able to access Xello through their Launchpad. If you happen to be joining us and you are from a charter school students will need to access Xello through the web app. And we want to make sure that you know that distinction. But when they engage in Xello, it will help to build self-knowledge. It allows them to explore options and really allows them to create achievable plans. So it's not just something that's out here. Oh yeah, that sounds great. It starts to become a concrete path that they can follow. It also develops 21st century skills that are needed to thrive in the world of work. So I love this quote. It says, don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. So that gives you a Xello overview. We want to take a look. Xello will provide lessons at the grade level. So if you have elementary school students, grades third through fifth grade. The activities are focused on building resiliency skills, encouraging self-discovery, creating career awareness, and building future readiness skills. But this isn't a situation where your third through fifth grader is going to be interacting with these lesson plans and somehow think, oh, this says I have to be something. That's not the goal. This isn't a static decision. The wonderful thing about our Xello platform is that it rolls over with your child. So if your child starts doing the Xello lesson plans in third, fourth grade, when they come back next year, the following school year, that information is still there. And that allows them to keep growing and interacting with Xello so that Xello then is adapting and giving them the feedback that that it has as they are growing. So that's really exciting because I remember my brother, right? My brother is now a vascular surgeon. In fifth grade, my brother was going to be a dirt bike racer, and he was convinced that that was going to be an incredibly lucrative career. Well, let me just tell you, by the time he ended up in high school, then he's looking at going to universities that have good med programs. Then he ends up looking at different schools where he finds himself a vascular surgeon today. So that was quite a far cry from just being and I'm not saying dirt bike riding isn't fun. He just had a little more potential than just doing that all day. So when we get to middle school, what are those lessons going to look like for our middle schoolers? So our grades 6 through 8, it will help the student become future ready, no matter their background, skills, or interests. And this is really important because this is a way for our students to have a level playing field when it comes to being able to pursue dreams, to be able to say, this is really what I want to do in life. So what is it I'm going to need to have in place? It also builds self-knowledge. It's great to say, I want to be an opera singer, but I can tell you right now, I can't carry a tune in a pickup truck. Xello's going to say, great, sing all you want in the shower, but here are some other opportunities that might be more viable for you. It allows our middle school students to explore career interests. It assists students in creating personalized academic and career plans. And this is where you start to see that the specific feedback starts to come into our students, not at the elementary level, but certainly in middle school. And by 8th grade, that's a goal, is for our young people to be able to have some sense of what they want to accomplish, where they may want to go in the future. And then finally in high school, our 9th through 12th graders, Xello allows students to learn and reassess their plans as they gain experience and knowledge and skills. So again, not a static situation. This evolves as our children are evolving, as their interests and skill sets evolve. It provides a link to Common App. Now, why is Common App really important? Because quite honestly, the majority of colleges right now allow you to apply through Common App. So you don't have to be applying to every individual school. You go through Common App and it'll be able to disseminate your applications. It also provides a strong career and technical education component with lessons on job searching, soft skills, interview skills, resume building. And this is really important because when we say college and career ready, for many years, we focused so heavily on college. But I happen to be the parent of 4 incredibly unique individual boys. And I can assure you that while 2 of our sons graduated from college, 2 did not, and yet are just as successful. And I knew with our 3rd son, when I walked out in the garage and saw that he took anything and everything apart in that garage, he was going to go into some type of a career where he could really use that talent and that knowledge. And now he's a project manager at one of the largest theme parks here in Florida, and he does really well. I'm very proud of him. So when we say that OCPS wants to ensure the success of every student and that we're going to do it through multiple pathways of success, Xello allows us to be committed and to walk our talk. And it allows us to be able to help our young people realize what is their best path to success. And that's really what that last bullet point says. You know, it provides various avenues to a student's career, matching, including whether it's college and career, apprenticeship, entrepreneurship, military, or trade schools. I would be very remiss right now if I did not take an opportunity to truly plug our college and career fair that's coming up Friday, February 21st at Orange Technical College West Campus. We are very excited. We have not only uh, over 75 universities and colleges, but we also have trade schools. We have the Paul Mitchell School here in Orlando. We have representatives from careers such as real estate, aesthetics, cosmetology, areas in which our kids are really going to be able to explore. And then I'm very excited about the fact that we have representatives from trades like plumbing, HVAC, welding. I mean, these are all careers that right now they are just dying to get young people interested in these careers, and they're making phenomenal livelihoods being able to pursue the career. And we will also have some of the companies that provide apprenticeship programs with those. So we're very excited. Please, if you haven't already, look into that. If you have a 10th, 11th, any high schooler, we'd love to see you at the Spring College and Career Fair. So when we talk about all of these wonderful things that that Xello can do for our kids when they are in the student access, why is it important for us to also talk about parent access? So the students can access Xello on Launchpad through their Launchpad login, but you and I both know, as much as we love our children to be independent and we want our kids to go ahead and take charge of some of these things, as a parent or a guardian, we still want to make sure we have a finger or a pulse on what's going on. So Xello Family Access, if you did not, you need to reach out to your school's college and career specialist or the school counselor. Parents received an email notification about activating their account in the fall. This was already sent out. So if you did not receive this, we genuinely encourage you to reach out to your school. The two people that can help you the most at the school are going to be the school's college and career specialist if you are high school, or the school counselor if you are elementary and middle school. And the email included a link to activate that account within 17 days. So it's expired by now, but that doesn't mean that you can't still get parent access to Xello. All the parent account information, including the email addresses, comes directly from Skyward. So again, we make a big plug to say that if your information is not up to date in Skyward, you will not get this information. So please make sure you verify the information that you have in Skyward. Also, if parents do not activate their account or forget their password, you can go ahead and contact the school and they will give you another email invitation. Once the account is set up, parents will be able to manage their personal account. You can change the Xello family language. So if you need Spanish, you would be able to ask for that. You can view the child's work, meaning the work they've done in Xello. You'll be able to see their lesson plans. And then you can also try Xello on your own. So you get a feel for what it's going to be like. When we talk about Xello resources for our parents, we've got the student resources, and I believe Lauren has dropped a link in the chat that will give you access to the Xello resources. So for student resources, we have using Xello at home. It'll give you ideas on how your child can use Xello to complete and interact with the interactive lessons. You can complete an assignment. If they didn't get to finish one of the lessons at school, they can. They get to build the About Me page. And they also have the opportunity to really explore. Like we said, this is an opportunity for our students to not just tell us what they think they're interested in, but also to be able to share by answering and interacting in the lessons. We're able to recommend and give feedback. What seems to really fit you? Have you thought about this? This could be a great opportunity. In terms of parent resources, we are able to go ahead and share the 10 hands-on ways you can help your teens develop their interests. We can also It allows you to have better lines of communication with students. It'll talk about parental involvement and future planning. And of course, the additional resources, there is a Xello support Get Started if you are a parent or guardian. If at any time you are not sure about maybe what your child should be doing, always reach out to your child's teacher, particularly in middle and high school, because Xello lessons are being assigned, certainly in 8th grade and above. So you definitely want to reach out to your child's teacher. And remember, you can always reach out to the school counselor or the school's, if it's high school, the college and career counselor for any additional information. Um, this is our Xello, kind of the overview we've been talking about. It is an online college and career readiness platform that was rolled out by the state of Florida. We have full implementation again this year for grades 3 through 12. We talked about some of the various features to support college and career exploration, such as the interactive assessments. And we even talked, I mentioned about the match survey that our high school students did. So they have things like career interests, personality and learning style inventories, a skills lab assessment that will go ahead and share with them where are some of your natural talents and strengths. Also, OCPS students are going to have to access that through their Launchpad. We also shared that the charter school students will access via the actual app. And Lauren, are you able to drop that in to the chat? If you can, that would be really helpful. When they're logging in, they will use their OCPS student ID as the username, and then they use the student birthday as the password. Please recognize that when they're using the birthday as the password, that's actually in the year. So you use 4 digits for the year, 2 digits for the month, and then 2 digits for the day. The resources to support your introduction to Xello. We have linking your Common App to Xello, which in the fall, there had been some glitches to that. So if you happen to be the guardian or a caregiver of a high school student, particularly a senior who's applying to colleges, that has been worked out and should work seamlessly. You can also request documents through the Common App. And again, not every college or university uses Common App, but many do. So if you have any questions, I strongly suggest just reaching out to your college and career counselor at the school if your senior needs help with that. These are resources, again, to support. There's a step-by-step guide for Common App and how students integrate Common App with Xello. And it's important to note that students will still complete the application steps in Common App. Even if they are in fact integrating, you still need to complete those steps. And then at this point, really that gives you kind of the overview and the nuts and bolts of Xello, Your Future Awaits. If we have anyone with questions, if we have any of the parents at the watch parties that have a question, we're happy to go ahead and take those questions. If I am not able to actually answer the question, we can certainly make sure we get your question to academic services because they are the experts when it comes to Xello. Lauren, I'm not seeing any questions. So at this time, I want to thank everyone for joining us. I do appreciate the time that you take to make sure that as a caregiver or a guardian, you are doing what you need to do to support your child's success. Please remember, Xello is a state platform. It's provided by the state of Florida. It really is a wonderful addition to the counseling process when we're trying to encourage our kids in a direction and making sure that they kind of find their pathway. I want to thank you again for joining us tonight. Lauren, I want to thank you for the support that you gave in the chat. We greatly appreciate it. Before you go, I am going to ask Lauren if you can go ahead and drop in the link to the survey. We appreciate your feedback that you can give us. Your feedback directly impacts and helps to guide our future work. So we thank you so much for taking a minute to fill out the, the survey, letting us know how tonight's virtual mini academy was. We also want to make sure that we drop into the chat the link to where you can register for future parent academies, especially our college and career fairs. So I want to mention again, if you are a parent of a high school student, our college and career fair is Friday, February 21st at Orange Technical College West Campus, and it is from 4:30 to 6:30 in the evening. We will have two different college panels. We will have apprenticeship programs available to talk to. We will have businesses. We have um, a lot of resources, and we will also have an exhibit hall where parents can get additional resources. So we thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night and take care. Bye-bye, everyone.